I miss a that bomb bomb. Let me put one of my tracks on real fast while we get going. Hey. All right, let me get everything set up. Going to the link to the there we go. Now we go. Hey. What's up, everyone? Give me a moment. Let me get set up.
You cannot deny my hustle, that's why I say follow me on this journey as I try to break a billion steadily. Gotta double up my dividends so they can set me free. That's just the way it is and how it's gotta be. I show and prove how I'm rolling, how I gotta move for my bread. New king gorilla in this jungle, swinging nuts as big as my head. Oh man, so please don't slip when I hunt you running, especially if I fall back to the gun and you're done in. My flow is deeper, so every day I stay on the grind. My paragraphs ready for war, that's why I keep them in line. Hey, it's alright. Hey, it's alright. Hey, my ambition goes make no rhyme. My flow is deeper, so every day I stay on the grind. My paragraphs
Gonna give everybody a moment to get up in here. Got some new tools, so I'm gonna show y'all.
I swear, sometimes I feel like I'm crazy.
Yep.
That voice inside won't let me be lazy.
No.
I swallow my pride, navigate the hustle while I plow my grind. Can't waste my time, can't keep up, get left behind. Already missed the rapture, and what's left? All the devils that we're rolling with. Think you're in control, but what's control when you ain't controlling shit? I guess we're stuck for life. Make tricks to us isn't it just ain't right. And it's a shame, such a low down, dirty shame to get trapped by this dirty game. My flow is deeper, so every day I stay on the grind. My paragraphs ready for war, that's why I keep them in line.
Hey.
It's alright.
Hey.
It's alright. Hey. My ambition goes make no rhyme. My flow is deeper.
It's off my third album? No, it's my second album release. Volume 2, Tragic Sacrifice and Victory.
On the street, it takes ambition to I don't even need y'all. Tell me I'm good at what I do. I don't even need you to buy the shit. Follow me. Tell me I'm good at what I do. I'ma still do what I gotta do to eat, regardless. You know? Yeah. So either you follow me, ride, or get rolled on. Follow me. Show you how to break bread on these. Let's go. My flow is deeper, so every day I stay on the grind. My paragraphs ready for war, that's why I keep them in line. Hey, it's alright.
The good thing about a business model is your business model should work regardless of what you're doing. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Toxic Thoughts, brought to you by Toxic Hustle. My name is Jay Tragic Jeffrey. My job is to try to dump the craziness and insanity that is inside my brain and cause the world within me to spin within you. Because these suckers out here have forgotten how to actually manufacture shit, except for debt. And my goal, from at least as a business, like I don't really, I can't, I don't have time for cap in my rap. Um, the fact is that if I have to make sure that I can make payroll for myself, like, hey, I can't really have a business if I can't pay myself, right? And then I can't scale the business and take on contractors to be able to scale out the workload if I don't have a business. So if I have a business in this landscape, it's no different than me navigating it is the same thing you're gonna have to do. We're all pretty much on the same boat where we're now trying to navigate the insanity that is the that as these I want to have debt for debt bastards that are controlling the oars of commerce right now. Like, people are in control of commerce and are creating laws that control commerce but never ran a business before. All they've done is use their namesake of their family names to be able to perpetuate docilization of our nation. And at this point in time, it really doesn't matter what you are. We're all pretty much in the same kind of rowboat at this point, right? Doesn't matter what country you're in, we're pretty much all in the same rowboat. As a people, we now have the job to try to figure out where we get our cash flow from, which was kind of what we are supposed to be doing in the first place. We just forgot. We got hooked on phonics. We got hooked on on being an employee. We got hooked on the idea of employment and what it meant, security. But there's no such thing. Not in maritime. Not with maritime thoughts. If you understood that, you understood your vessel needed to be in the perpetuation of commerce. So if you had a ship and you were doing commerce, if it sat in the dock and did nothing, it did nothing. It can't be an asset to you if it sits in dry dock. And what we've done with our businesses is we've done just that. We've perpetuated waiting for somebody else to control the commerce for us, whether it be a platform. If you became a developer and now you're on Apple and now you're pissed because you've got to still pay 30% and you think the price should come down. Well, you didn't create nothing. You didn't create the phones. You didn't create the avenue. And while they may have a pseudo monopoly, they don't really have a monopoly because you could always put your app on Android, or you could make it into a Linux app and then port it yourself to some third party source. What we're getting into now is, since they've done globalization and it's complete, right? I can do business with damn near anybody in the world so long as my IP provider allows said contact, right? Because we forget we're underneath a great firewall as well. So long as the companies will kowtow to legislation, we are all pretty much under the same perpetual umbrella for communication. So for me, as a business, as me putting out my corporations or my straw men in trying to do commerce for the last few years, I've had to hear the insanity in my head that said, "Hey, you do automation for a living. Hey, you do desktop automation. Basically, I make computers do things on their own. We called them macros back in the day. This is what I've been doing on the back end to be able to make money on the side from my clientele by automating their businesses. I've done this through every recession. The difference is now we're getting into that idea isn't so scattered brained anymore. It's not so niche anymore. It's becoming something that all businesses need, because the biggest threat to all businesses now, unfortunately, is employees. Companies have taken on so much debt. That debt is revolving. And with interest rates rising, the business now has to facilitate a higher debt. Pure numbers, right? It's not like they get a fixed credit line. Their credit's no different than a regular ass credit card. So peep game. Now that they've already set up everything they need to basically basically every country is interbanked through Swift, and everybody's shown, they've shown their hands, they can turn off your bank accounts. Welcome to my world of Web 2.0. What you've seen in the outside world, I've already felt in here. It's called PayPal. And at any given point in time, PayPal could turn off my damn account. And I've seen the effects on my business twofold, because they did it to me twice. It's one of the reasons why I never put my complete trust in that as a business model. But at the end of the day, all of these ports of exit, the way that you can swipe a card and use it, at this point, it doesn't make much of a difference how I feel about them being in control of those ports. Those ports are what they are now. We're seeing the demise of physical cash. Whether you like it or not, or whether you have a problem with it or not, or are you walking around with gold bars and have your strap ready? Because that's pretty much what you're doing. You're going to be walking around with your bank on your hip. And don't get me wrong, I like gold, I like silver, I like copper. Base fiduciary metals. But in this given point in time, do you think it's feasible that that's going to maintain that standard in a world where computers are making the money, not humans? If you are not an AI researcher writing code to create AI that writes its own code, then you won't have a job in the next 10 years. Not in that capacity. The next phase is now businesses that need the facilitation of e-commerce. Everybody's had a great idea. Everybody's been a consult. Everybody's now consultating online. Everybody's doing that via YouTube or whatever, TikTok, whatever media outlet they want to use. So now we have a proliferation of everyone that can be a consultator. Most of them have not even been in any, again, type of business to do so. What does consultation mean in the future? We don't know. My goal with everything that I do is to understand a few things. And for you to understand these few things is that what you've seen with automation in the physical landscape, as you're watching chef robots that I've shown you in other videos, as I've shown you what's going on with desktop computing and cloud automation, with N8N, with Windows Power Automate. All of these things are leading to where you're needing to do something with those skill sets. It's not as simple as creating a gallery and put some graphics on a gallery and then put that on your resume and now you can just go get a job. There's plenty of people who can just do web design. There's plenty of people who can just do web development. There's plenty of producers who can just make beats. There's plenty of people who have FL Studio. There's plenty of people who can use Studio One and or Pro Tools or Ableton. There's plenty of that. But what we're going to start to get to is completion of projects and whether or not those projects are being get utility, right? So what you are now dealing with is no longer you needing to find some company to be able to get utility for your intellectual property. Simple fact is you upload it to whomever you want to upload it to at this point, and you get royalties paid straight to a PayPal account, a bank account, what have you. I use CD Baby because I get YouTube streams. And because I get those YouTube streams, it changes my business strategy. If you're not getting your YouTube streams for your audio, you're leaving money on the table. And the future is going to be then, what do you do with your audio, right? If it's that now simple. What did we learn with ET when I was a kid? We learned product placement, Pepsi. But now, as a paid musician, which you will then be, if you're earning royalties, you make $1 damn, you're a paid musician, right? That was what my mentor told me. He kept telling me, look, it's going to be real simple for you. This is when I first got into the digital game and I couldn't wrap my head around getting paid online. I just couldn't. I was like, what do you mean you get paid online? He's like, I have a PayPal account. and I get paid online. And I couldn't wrap my head around that concept. For the life of me, I couldn't do it. So what did I have to do? I had to sit down and watch that he just went to, we went to lunch. He swiped his card and we're eating lunch. And he's like, oh, I got it. He's like, this is what I mean. He's like, I just finished with a client while I'm at work. I just got paid. They paid me to my PayPal account. I can come out here and I can eat. And he was from India. That's when I started it. What that was like, oh shoot. And he was working with people back home in India, getting them to do Photoshop and web work for him. And then he was like doing that work from another website, getting that traffic in. So my side of the business where I see like, hey, when I was doing this, I was at Canon. I mean, excuse me, I was at Citibank. And I'm sitting there at a bank. I'm still like getting, I'm learning how to make music. I'm just figuring out what kind of program I want to use. I'm thinking whether or not I want to move down south so I can start this damn media company. Or I was going to, well, really just a production label. I figured, hey, if I can get down south, I can do this production label, I can put things online, I'll be able to maybe sell, maybe do something with PayPal, and then make this money. Fast forward now, years later, all of that extra steps that you needed to do has been kind of reduced. Yes, you can have a website, but it's not necessary for you to earn. Not off rip for your music. You don't have to now buy a domain for your music off rip. You can just upload your music and begin to get paid. That's a shorter distance between 2 points. You and your royalties. You and how do you get paid? Period. How do you get paid in music? Like, let's just keep it simple. They've made it so freaking complicated with all this ass kissing you've got to do. And the end all be all is what? A a record label is only doing two things for you, getting you either ears or eyeballs. If you're on YouTube and YouTube pays you royalties and you just upload it to a place like CD Baby and they're giving you your YouTube streams off rip, you win. Done. You didn't have to go through rigmarole. You ain't got to go do no weirdo ish and put on costumes. You ain't got to take no secret oaths and dumb shit. No, you can just get paid and keep making music. Simple. And now the only thing you got to do is utility. Now check out this I did, right? What I did was you can see this graphic here and you can see I told y'all about Midjourney, right? This AI I've been working with. The link was in description in the Musical Genius Discord. Now, what I did was I stacked a whole bunch of. Just went and got some images. Just took about an hour, did some generation of some images, and then what I did was, hold on, go to the channel. What I did was here, I made a video. Put my music behind it. I already know I'm getting royalties on this because I uploaded this to CD Baby and it's now making royalties immediately. So all of this, the music, and now I have the AI art, right? This already has done better than most videos because the keywords are bringing it in. The fact it's AI generated art, right? And now I've got my music behind it. Now I'm getting keywords, I'm getting better views, and at the same time, my music is playing behind it and I'm getting royalties. That's it. Did I bring anybody to a website? No. Did I ask them to buy anything? No. Did I say I want you on a beat? No. So it's immediately making royalties. It'll get put to my bank account, and now I can either scale this idea up and do other things with it, or I can create more and more things. Now, what I have today, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I found that I'm going to use. I'm going to itemize everything in ToxicHustle so that you can basically have a blueprint of what I'm doing. So let me show you what I mean by that. Underneath here, you'll see I've already begun a beta section. And then I have automation basics, Coda automation, which is what this is Coda. I'm treating it like a database, which is allowing me to do Twitter automation, where I've already got it, where, hold on, get developer access. So basically, I've already done all of this and gotten all the information, the workflow to be able to set up and get automation, to be able to build basically your own, where you schedule a broadcast. Right now I have posting to Twitter. I think I have a database for it. Hold on. Where's the databases? Database. There we go. So posts. So I have these scheduled posts, and then I have a post that I actually posted to Twitter via automation. So nobody even realized it was a test, but it's a test that rolled out. So you can see here, this information here. And then what I did was databases. You can see here's the post. Put this here so I can go back and forth. Boom, and go back here. So here's the post message right here. Then I have an image. Oops, wrong one. That's archive. No, go to post. Here we go. So here's the post. Don't believe the hype. Boom. There's the image. It was going to my tragic Twitter account, and I posted it. And you can see it's here. So this was a test to be able to see whether or not it would work, and I've gotten it to work. And if you look inside, like I said, here we go. What I did was post to Twitter. The next thing I got to do is actually just do my screenshots for how I got it to work, but all the way up into setting up and configuring everything to work with Twitter is set up. It's just the posting side and how I got that to work. It just needs to be set up. But after that, it'll be YouTube automation, which is what I'm working on now. I've already got all the way to set up for N8N. And again, that will allow you to post whatever you want to your YouTube channel or to curate your YouTube channel. The biggest thing right now, and this is pretty much one of the hustles that I'm not hustle but business, right? Because I think of everything like as a hustle of a mind state. Like, okay, how do I do something for somebody and I do it like I can get paid for it? Like, what's the biggest problem with everybody's social media channel? The biggest problem is their comments, right? So what if I can now manage a client social media profile and be able to manage the spam that might be coming to their channel? So if I create a channel that gets spam and I'm able to collect that data, right? Collect the data into a database, Coda. Now I can be able to manage multiple profiles from one location. And that's what people will pay services for. So again, you've got to look at just not what you can do with your music and how you get utility there. That's a blessing. You'll get, your royalties. I mean, great. That might be an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month in royalties that come in. My thing is, you're also going to have to think, what do I offer as a service to somebody outside of just music? Like, hey, can I get exposure to somebody with tools like this to be able to do stuff like this? Yes, you can. Because this information is not like I'm sitting there saying, oh, don't tell anybody else that they can get royalties getting on a damn network like CD Baby. Are you serious? This is not intellectual property. This is something that everybody needs to know. At the core, we should be able to get paid for our music, period. Point blank, end of fucking discussion. And what we've done is we created so many loopholes and steps to just be able to get ears and eyes that pay money. Well, YouTube, Google gets the most amount of advertising right now, and they're not going anywhere. And so, through this whole little downturn, I'm going to piggyback off the network that's gonna get the most amount of cash flow into itself through this little downturn. It ain't gonna make you effing rich, but shoot, you do this right, you're not gonna be bad off. If you can get another 5 grand in royalties, what the hell does it matter how you did it? Is it not what your job is to, get your assets making enough money so you can take care of your family? Like, if you want to make money in music, aren't we supposed to be getting paid in it? Like, look, if I'm a rapper, which I am, and I make music, which I do, and I can make my own beats, record myself, mix myself, master myself, put my own ish out. Okay, where did you get paid in this entire scenario? You didn't. And with these tools, it's going to make it more relevant that that's going to happen. I'm going to show y'all. I'm simplifying my entire process of how I'm recording, and I'm going to make that into a part of this course. What I'm using, all this stuff just itemized. I tell you straight out. I'm using software like this. I'm using a microphone called Doubler. I don't have you don't have to wait for anything. Like y'all know me by now. I'm just going to tell you everything. Like this is no paywall shit. Like, oh, you can only get it through my course. No, I'll tell you what it is. The course basically is here. I'm itemizing everything out, and here's all the tips I'm actually doing, and here's how I build out this, and this is what I'm actually doing to make money. Like, Toxic Hustle is like, this is our proof of concept of the research that we're doing, and this is how we get paid, period. As a media company, this is how we do it, period. How I pay taxes, point, stop, full stop. Right? To the government, I've got to pay taxes, right? Maritime type beats. I've got a corporation LLC type beats. I've got to write off things from my straw man type beats. Like all the other ish sounds great, but look, at the end of the day, I still got to do commerce. We've been having to deal with this since 1492, Fall of Granada type beats. So why are we acting cute and clamorous like this is brand new? If you had a ship and your ship is sitting in port doing jack shit, how do you get paid from that, which is supposed to be an asset? Well, your ship is your music, right? It's your instrument. It's what you navigate your musical landscape of whatever is in your head that you magically poof out of nowhere, nothingness. You create this thing and you put it out. All right, and then you got a bunch of crap. I want to say something. I want to say something else, but I'm trying to not get the algorithms to smash my numbers down like they keep doing. Because by now this information should be out. Like, we should already be into the utilitarian phase of our assets. Like, every single one of you should know right now, for the last 5 years, I've been making royalties. And I haven't been trying. Like, I really haven't pushed my shit. I've been getting royalties since Spotify. Right? And now I'm getting royalties from like YouTube. I was getting royalties in China and Germany before they decided that, and Russia before they started doing these weirdo sanction-ish. And I still think I get paid a little bit from there. I get paid from TikTok and I didn't even ask for it. They don't pay much of shit, but hey, it's visibility. And at least if my music then gets traction, if I want to push my artwork or things over there, the stuff that I'm starting to show y'all on the channel now, I'm going to make my output speed up. So let's begin. Like, I wanted to do the job numbers and all the other stuff. We'll get to that. I'll show you basically, look at this with Doubler. You get a microphone. You can use your own microphone, I believe. Right, this is using a different microphone. And you can use this to sing in your notes. You can treat your voice like MIDI. So when y'all listen to the videos and you go back and you hear me in the beginning of the videos just beatboxing and doing stuff, and you notice I've kind of stopped doing that, is because I'm now saving that for when I'm doing it now in real time. When I'm making my tracks now. Where I told y'all in one of the last video, my video coming back from vacation last Saturday, I was like, I came back from vacation, I turned on my Studio One, I plugged in everything that I needed to plug in, which was just my Atom SQ and the USB microphone that comes for doubler. And I began to hum out and beatbox out an idea of a song, and I didn't feel the restrictions I used to feel. The reason why I stopped making music, the reason why I haven't gone into that side of the business, because I was focused on, hey, like, because I have a homeboy named Ty Durden, and Ty can just crank out music all day. No issues. My thing was, well, how do we use them? How do we get the utility out of this all this artwork? Like, it doesn't make sense. You just keep cranking out shit. And like, there's another homeboy we got, Mike. Mike could, again, make songs. He could make thousands. I think he has like over 1,000 songs. I'm like, okay, well, none of them are really earning. Like, we're not getting utility out of them. And that to me, it was like, okay, as a producer, now, yeah, I got hundreds of ideas laid out on recordings of songs that I can do, hundreds of them. But I'm like, I'm not putting shit out until I figure out this utility side. And I'll make it real short for anybody that's new in the room that hasn't heard this over and over again. I'm not locking this behind a paywall. Toxic Hustle is just, here's how I do it step by step. I talk real fast. I go through a lot of ish because I do a lot of research. And now all I'm doing is saying, here's an SOP. The same thing I did when I left my job at Canon, and I had to leave them the how to maintain my robot. Like, how do they maintain doing business as if I'm not here anymore? This is how you maintain the system. Now, what I'm doing is saying I'm building a brand new system for myself. These are the tools I'm using to do so, because what it's going to help me do, and where this came from was while I was dealing with my mom, when I was taking care of my mother. My mother has Alzheimer's, and my mom was a nurse. So every day she was thinking she had a patient. So I could not work with any of my clients because I had to now become a nurse again. Every day I had to be a nurse, be a nurse, be a nurse to my mom. So there was no way for me to work or think outside the box if I'm thinking, okay, how do I maneuver my day to even try to get one thing done? So when you realize you have to come up with a business that doesn't involve you, that's actually where the book for 4 Hour Work Week. Like, if you check that book is that thought process. How do you outsource your work? But I realized I can't outsource my work. I can't tell you how I'm working right now and anybody really understand this ish. I can't have you optimize your to work like to in scale like I'm working if you don't know how I'm scaling. So Toxic Hustle is just that. Hey, let me show you how I'm scaling out the process to not only A, get my music done faster, to B, to create actual songs. Those songs become albums. Those albums actually get put out. And what you do now is this is how you now get utility for your catalog in today's age. You know, the thing that Michael Jackson understood and why he bought the Beatles catalog, because he could put it to a commercial and make money on it. Now, if you're getting paid for the signature of your music being on some medium of video, I've just proven you can do it simply. I didn't have to open up Photoshop to do this. And one of the pieces of software that I'll show you when we get to the video section is literally another AI to handle video. It's still early in its development. It's in beta, and I'm going to show you pretty much. I've already, I already bought into a license because I wanted to be able to test this and also show it to y'all and see if it works and see what it can do. Right. So let me get started. Right. Let's go. Let's go. So first and foremost, let's deal with. I'm going to speed through my notes because I want to get to the AI and the music stuff as fast as we can. But we have to get into why this is even a necessity. And the landscape is the same. Nothing has changed for us, right? If we just deal with the layoffs and we deal with the news, and let's go over to tools, check our recent, and let's go for the last week. All right, check it out. One day ago, 12 biggest tech layoffs this year. More than 32,000 tech workers from every corner of the industry have already lost their job this year. So we already know, not only here in tech, but if you go into real estate, mass layoffs, hiring freezers, tech workers, Walmart, StubHub, that's ticketing. Really? Hold on. Let's do this. Make them force real estate. Okay, here we go. Gannett reports disastrous financial turn. Layoffs are coming. The August 4th. Costs went up, a loss of $54 million. Yeah. Digital advertising fell. This is not exactly, hold on, where's real estate in this? Besides operating, REIT said space to accelerate the sale of retail assets. Okay, so they're selling off retail assets. I mean, not retail, real estate. Okay, tell you what, let's do it. Let's put a plus on this. Right. You're still not giving me nothing. Here we go. And now what I did was I went back and just went to all instead of just locking in on news. And now I'm going to go ahead and do it for the past week. Real estate firms, Compass and Redfin. Here we go. So it's not on the news section, but I have to find it in the regular searches. Real estate firms, Compass and Redfin announced layoffs. 10% of its workforce. Redfin is reducing by 8%. So what this means is real estate, they already see a downturn in real estate. They're already going to see that there's going to be more of a downturn in real estate, so that they're going to go ahead and get more and more people off of payroll. With the rise and an increase in the inflation rates, these businesses have been running on debt, and they cannot facilitate these higher rates and not have to make cuts, which is exactly what the Fed said they wanted to do. Jerome Powell said, I want to crush demand. How do you crush demand? You have to have layoffs. Job numbers. Job numbers. They're saying right now payrolls have increased. What does that mean? With payrolls increasing, the Fed is going to go ahead and continue its path. So anybody that's thinking that the market's not, that the Fed is going to make a pivot, these numbers say right now, hell to the now, they're not. And they're not going to for the rest of this year. Unless they're going to try right before November to do something to try to keep in office. The Democrats might try to pull some bobo right around then because they want the votes. Because you know they're going to try to buy these votes. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. All right, so we already know that they're saying that these payroll numbers are up. This means that inflation is up. With inflation being up, they're going to continue to attack demand. They want to see more job losses. They want to see a higher unemployment. They want to go from quote unquote 1.9 jobs for every person to 1 to 1. So right now, that's why they can say we're not in a quote unquote recession because they see jobs up. But the problem is these really are second jobs. Second job. So what they say right now, if you look at it, people who already had a full-time job and then the second job is part-time. So that's what's going on. So the higher job numbers isn't, hey, a bunch of new people are coming back to the job market. It's people who already have a job getting a secondary job because they have to have a second job. So while they're continuing to crush demand, it's going to continue to crush jobs for people that had only one primary job to those that are. So this is going to look like a perpetual cycle. Like, hey, I might lose a job and now need two part-time jobs because I can't get one full-time job. So these numbers are going to continue to balloon. They're going to continue to, the Fed is going to continue to increase rates. They're going to increase rates pretty much maybe for the rest of this year, and they might try to do some pivot next year. I'm holding my shorts where they are. All right. Let's see the macro cycle with Bitcoin. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Stock data. Let's get this, and let's do this, and just the S&P 500. Okay. All right. Here we go. And this is Seasons of Bitcoin. All right. What I want to do is again remind you of the cyclical nature of Bitcoin. Since we are in crypto winter, what that means is we're on the backside of a trade, which is the halving cycle trade. X amount of years, Bitcoin goes through a halving in which how much you make for one Bitcoin and mining it, the rewards get cut in half. So that means more hardware needs to be purchased, better hardware needs to be purchased, more efficient hardware needs to be purchased every new cycle. So it's a new investment cycle. At the end or tail end of a halving cycle, we have this surge in Bitcoin's run up and then the subsequent fall towards the back end of that. I experienced this in 2016, 2017. And then right after that, we had this very long period where it was going down. And then for a while, we were doing this little sideways bounce up and down right before the next halving cycle. We just went through, if you've been here since last year, we just went through this. This was the 2020 through 2020, now 2022. So if we're looking at it from here, we've gone up. This was the spike from that last halving cycle, and we're on the back end of that now, right? So spiked up November, we dipped down, and now what you're seeing is the back end of that trade, and we're waiting for the next halving cycle, which would be in 2024, somewhere over here somewhere. So we got a ways to go. It'll be around about here. I'll mark out the next one on the charts and in coming days or weeks. All right, so right now, November, as we've seen here, and if we go back in time, so that it ain't cute and clamorous, here's a purple. That's 2019, the dip. That's 2018, November. We had a halving cycle here, so it acts weird, right when we're in that November pump on the back end of or front end of this halving cycle run up. And then on the back end of it, then it goes back to acting like it usually does until you see here, same as it did here, you then have a run up right when you get ready to have that halving pump. So here we have this halving pump, and we're on the back end of that over here on this chart. So there's a November dip coming. That November dip is significant, and it can bring us anywhere between 11,000 to 7,000 Bitcoin. Now it can go lower than that depending on where we are coming from these dips here. But right now I'm keeping my estimates as saying that if we get back to around 19,000 with these dips, that we'll see 11,000 Bitcoin or 13,000 Bitcoin on this dip. Then we probably see 11,000 Bitcoin on this dip. So far, that's my adjustment where I don't think we hit the $7,000 Bitcoin. I think we are more in line to be at the beginning of the top of the year being at an 11,000 Bitcoin, which is not horrible. Not a horrible place to be. If it went any lower than that, then that would be a problem. But we'll see. We'll see if it actually plays out because we have not been able to get back to the 2019 zone. So if it holds up through here, it may be primed that the November dip only brings us down to the uh, 20,000. Yeah, the worst case scenario is November to or through January is being able to hit the if it hits the 13,000 level. Right now, my estimate is the low would be a $13,000 drop. Would be our potential low. All right, so that is our macro cycle with Bitcoin. So, like I said, we're looking at our as a macro. The Fed is not going to decrease these rates. There's nothing that's going to go into bank accounts to be able to push the market back up, at least for retail. Retail is still in the market getting ready to get crushed by a secondary wave of dips, which will be right around the September timeline in the stock market. We cyclically have seen that around about in September, there's typically a dip. See, right there. And we can go back in time and see that in earlier charts. So if it keeps its process September, and because Bitcoin acts just like it does as a tech stock, there's your September dips. So I expect the market to play right around the same time Bitcoin's going to play to the downside, right in this pocket of time. And then we'll see where we are to try to estimate how far and how low November's dip is going to take us. Because it's so significant, like the January dip, it breaks purple lines. Like it will break a purple line, period, point blank. That's why I made it purple, because it is a purple breaker. So now that we've got our BTC out of the way, what does that mean? As you've seen with what we talked about with the business. Hold on. What did I just close out? Okay. Close this out. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. My damn screen got frozen. All right. So the landscape we're getting ready to get into isn't going to change anytime soon, right? So your side hustles are what? You're going to have to deal on services, products, services, um, subscriptions. Like, what kind of information, what knowledge do you have that that you study hard on, that you work long and hard on, that you can offer? What kind of or writing ebooks or writing books? Side things that you can do besides just the music. The music can be used no different than a lot of the movie directors, where they use their music. Matt Stone, Trey Parker do their own music. John Carpenter, that's who I was looking for. John Carpenter for the Halloween soundtrack, he did that himself. The theme song for Halloween, he created himself. He scored it himself. So you've got to think that your business, who you are, the title that you want to hold on to, doesn't have to just be one of a producer. It can be something more than that. So, my goal for what I'm doing and what I'm doing with Toxic Hustle is I'm laying out my workflows for optimization, how I'm optimizing, why I'm optimizing, what's the need for it. The need for it was I did not have time when I needed to be in care of someone else. And I needed a way to be able to still output and have an output like, hey, can I sit down and score out a good chunk of a song in a few moments? Because I may only have 10 to 15 minutes. Can I get an idea out before I get interrupted in music, right? Can I do that with video, right? Can I do that with art? So is there a way for me to create and something can help me get to my creation process because me just looking for um, artwork from stock libraries just wasn't helping. It wasn't giving me the edge I needed to, or giving me a leg up in designing something dope because I was restricted to what the design was giving me. Right? Is it a vector? Is it this? Can I cut this out? How long does it take me to do this? How long does it take me to do that? Well, now I'm beginning to come up with a way to do all that. So let's begin right now. So we're going to start with the AI of everything, where and how. We're going to start with music. So with music, there's of course composing. And all I do is I can put music first, even though I think it's going to be the same thing. It doesn't give me the list like I like this one, so this is actually going to be fine. Orb Composer. It was actually the one I was looking for. All right, so check this out. So I don't really need help in this portion of my idea creation funnel, but this you can create. It can create patterns, bass lines, melodies. Let's see. Powered by AI, unlimited possibilities, producer suite. You got Orb Melody, so it can create melodies for you. You've got bass, it can create bass, arpeggios. You've got synth, a homemade synth, wavetable synth, uh, complex rhythms, lyrical melodies, chaining blocks. You can now chain blocks. I don't know what all that means, but basically, this is one of the tools you can use to be able to compose your music via AI. Like I said, I don't use this strategy because I already have an AI in my head that just won't shut the hell up with beats. And I have like 1,000 beats. Like I can easily have like 10 to 20 beats in my head a day. So that's not the hard part for me. So what I'm using is, like I told y'all, Doubler. Doubler 2, which gives you a microphone. And with that microphone, I can basically
first version of Doubler 2, which lets you control any.
So if I now have a way to use my voice as a synth, I can now do the. And what I've done in my project, hold on. I know it's gonna act up. No, I don't have any. I don't have it plugged in right now. But basically, with my Revelator mic, um, what I've done, and I'll show you just the last project I was working on. Here we go. So what I do, right? The workload or workflow that I'm doing is hold on so I can show you. Oh, hold on 1 second. So my drums, I use the doubler to be able to just beatbox my drums straight in. So you can see right there, I just beatbox my drums straight in, and then I did the hi-hats separately on a separate track. I just re-recorded that, right? And then I have easy keys that I just put my chords in, but these chords are then gonna make multiple types of melodies. Thanks, NG, the future for the hack. I'll show y'all what I mean in another video. Then part of my build out is I have my vocals. That's where all my finished song is gonna be in, and the placeholder that you see here is like I can just beatbox, right? So I can beatbox or sing the hook that I want in these placeholders. And now I just have placeholders to like for what the song is going to be. So I can hum out something and then go back and then just play it out up here. So now I'm not losing my energy, right? The problem with getting a song out of your head is you'll have an idea for a song, but then the energy you had while you're messing around with your drums and while you're setting up your kick and all this other stuff, you now lost the energy or the swag it had and it's gone. Well, now I can quickly just record it really fast. Right now I have that energy. Now I can go mess around with whatever else I want to mess with, but I can always come back and listen to it, or it's now playing in my earphones on loop. And I can either add to that by just. So now I can just have all of that energy going in, and I can now do the beatbox over with just doubler. And then I can just do the hi-hats and I can just hum the melody I want. And there's another hack that I figured out because I don't have the greatest of voices where I can sit there and say I can carry a perfect note. I can't. And so if you don't have that skill, the microphone can give you a bunch of crazy results. I think they need a better like tuner where it can actually pull you in shift a little bit better off rip. But until then, I figured out a workaround, which was basically I would or right use a kick sound and I would draw out the notes of where my bass line or the note or the piano is going to play. So if I had a piano is going to be dun 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 dun. Instead of me trying to do that, I would do boom 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 or and have those notes now just across the board of the recording. And now I can just go stretch it out and draw the note, like drag the notes where I want them now. Rather than me trying to play the melody, I tap out the melody or, basically use a hi-hat sound to get the notes where they need to be. And now I just draw the notes into the sound pockets where I need it. Right. So little things like that, I'm gonna hammer out and show you the workflows for those. But those are gonna be how you build out your songs in a faster way, getting them to render out, which leads us to let me get out of here now. Well, well, really, no, it's right there. Being able to cancel. Use isotope, right? I'm going to use isotope neutron for the mixing. I know it, or neutron 4 for mix. Yes, I know it gives you janky results. My thing is that if I hired somebody and they were new and they came with their own thought process of what the sound was going to be, guess what I would get? I would get janky results. So what you have to do is kind of come up with your own sound patterns and then use those sound patterns to tell it where you want it to go. So like take an album, create these sound files, and these sound files are now how you can curve it or carve it into the sound design you're looking for. So it's kind of like you still got to control it, but you just give it the reference files you need. So it's really building out a reference library. And one of the things I'll be doing is crafting out a nice reference library that I'm going to be using with Neutron to carve out sound space to give me like stage one. This is like my stage one of this type of hip hop sound that I want to go for, right? So that's kind of what I'm going to do but I'm going to have to do it in such a way where I'm not using the music from a uh, um I'm not using the music from or I'm not using copyrighted music. I'm getting the sound file from that music, but I'm going to put it across a default sound sound bank. I'm thinking MG the Future sound banks, and basically just use that as a default basic zero out, like zero one, and then take that sound pack, and then from that sound pack overlay uh, different sound files that now using his sound bank, we it's kind of like I've used something that's purchasable as a signature for anything else you want to use within, like basically convert his sound banks into industry sound banks based off of other songs or other energy of albums. I'm working on it, still work in progress. But anyway, so again, using Neutron, using Ozone as your AI for potential mixing, internal mixing if you're trying to do it that way. There is a few things I will be looking at because while I like having that access to that software for it to do it there, there is other plugins that you can use. They're quote unquote smart plugins. Sonable, smart, uh, mix room. So there's other plugins that try to do something similar. Oh, and then of course there's mastering. So like Ozone for mastering, but then you've got AI mastering. Bow, 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 bow. So like Lander, people have gotten results. You can use Lander alternatives. There we go. No, no, these are not alternatives to Lander. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Trying to see if there's another company. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. There we go. This might have it. Cloud Bounce, Band Lab, E-Mastered. Never really heard of any of these. I'm gonna have to go through some of these and see what I can find. That might be another project. And if y'all know of any, go ahead and make sure you throw that in the description, um, the YouTube description, if you know of any yourselves, or throw it in the chat. All right. So you got mixing, you got mastering. We talked about the creation process. Let's see. So let's talk about art. Heart. Okay. So as y'all already know, and as I've been talking about, one of the things I'm also putting in the research, uh, which I haven't done yet, I don't believe. There it is. The AI research. I'm going to begin to put all the AI research for a lot of what we're doing here and the tools we're building to be able to get more consistent generated art out of the system. So, that being said, let me go. Hold on. Hey, where is it? Hold on. Wow. So, what we're talking about is Midjourney and the fact of Midjourney developing the art that we did for the video that we created on YouTube that's utilizing the music. Again, the shortest distance for your royalties is being able to be uploaded. You put that upload online, that like through CD Baby, you get YouTube royalties. Those YouTube royalties are generating. Hold on. CD Baby data. Your YouTube royalties are generating via your content ID is generating cash flow, right? From the amount of views that I get on YouTube, this is how much content or cash flow is coming in. I have to update this because we did this, I think, the first of 8:31. Is that 8:31 and 8? Yeah, it is. Okay. And we just updated. I believe it was 8:1, but it might have been 7:31. I will verify because we did it live. So it's whenever I did the last video. All right. So we know that content ID is the most important thing that you can get from your YouTube royalties. And what is content ID? Content ID is your utility. Again, this me doing a video with my music, Tragic Beat, Reach for You, which is part of it's part of my content that I've uploaded. Hold on. Spotify. Tragic. So uploading the CD Baby got, let me get my, right, this Beat Chronicles. And if you look at Beat Chronicles, Reach for You, right? So this was a test project I put out. From here on out, I'm going to put it underneath Toxic Hustle, but I want to have proof. I wanted to at least, hey, let me upload this thing, which I did in 2019. Let me sit it here and let me start figuring out how I'm going to do video to get some type of royalties for this stuff. And how do I automate that in the future? It's taken as you can see, years, but now I've realized I can get my content ID and using Midjourney, which is the AI, I can now create and craft any one. I can create images. Jay-Z rapping, right? I can now make it like this is Jerome Powell casting magic on reporters, right? This is one of the things I use for a video. So you're seeing like this system can come up with a lot of crazy stuff. You can now use this and generate a video. That's all I did. But I went one step further. This video that was created is created by a cloud video system that we'll go ahead and get into because we went into art. This is the creation. Animation, I'll talk about some animation in a minute, but let's talk about how this video got made. And that was through, hold on. Where is it? There it is. This program right here. Let me see if it can just open up. There you go. This program right here, I was hunting around looking for some videos. And I was like, yo, there's got to be a way that AI can edit video with music, right? And that was pretty much what I was searching for because I know the biggest and the most annoying shit to do is okay, I got to go into Premiere. And then in Premiere, I got to create these basic markers, right? So I got to tap on the desktop to the markers of the beat, or I can try to get some plugin that I got to pay for and all this other ish so that I can get this stuff to beat. And then now that I have these markers on the beat, then I've got to slice my video to get like I just wanted to kind of like speed up the process and get past all that and see if there was any other tools out there that could do something to speed up the video process. Well, this right here is a cloud system that you just saw right there. Two dots, and now you've just cut this person out of the background. Paint out objects. So now that object's gone. Automatic beat detection. So you can run, I put a beat inside the system and then you can snap to beats. I didn't do that for this song because I was just testing getting the videos in there. Automatic noise removal so it can clean up your audio. Um, you can work as a team. And then now they're working on templates. So you can just switch out text, styles, images, what have you. So I'm testing this now just to be able to see what it does with video and it has effects. So one of the effects it has is here this cartoon effect right here called posterize, which is basically cartoon, which is the same kind of effect I use for one of my music videos over here. So I'm going to show you some shit that's going to be laid out because this idea I had, let me show you. Hold on. Boom, go to YouTube. Let me show y'all. I can show y'all better than I can tell y'all. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let's go to playlists. And it should be underneath. Uh, 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 really? Hope so. Okay, there we go. On this one, dead wrong. So the posterize effect. So this was an idea that I came up with, which was how do you create a pseudo simulation and or pseudo cartoon effect, and could that just be like a stylized video that could roll out? Now this had to be done on a main computer. I basically 3D rendered all of these scenes right in the background that you see here, and what I did was I created an automation script in After Effects that basically just moved this around, the background around, and kind of there was a camera and kind of moved the camera in and out, moved it back and forth. So it looks like there's a camera rolling, and it looks like the background is, of course, moving differently than the artist itself. So this idea is basically me behind a green screen, in front of a green screen, and a generated artwork or 3D render in the background so that I could have my artwork and my scenes, right? So now the reason why I did 3D was because if I rendered the scene, the shadows would be where I needed them to be. I could light the scene the way I wanted to light it. Now, the idea I'm now coming up with is this program, as I told you, hold on, damn it. this one. Green screen, like it says, it shows you that easy. You now take somebody out. See, at the beach, cut out. Click, click. You can now have somebody out of their background in a couple clicks. So my thing is now if I'm able to cut myself out of a scene, and then I'm able to generate my scenes, what have I now done? What used to take me hours of render time to get the render that I wanted for the scene that I wanted, I don't have that problem anymore. I can now render my scenes in real time, not real time, but I can render a scene right here. I can now bring that scene here and I can cut myself out of my green screen. And now I just need to animate the scene itself to make it work the way I similarly would have done in Premiere. Or I can export all of these assets back out, bring them into Premiere as rendered assets, and now my speed up for how I can now animate my system, because now it's not having to do all the green screening and all. I can now do all the hard work outside of After Effects, and then just bring the layers back in, and then just animate it, and then render it back out. If I want to go that route, I would really like to see myself actually not even leaving this program. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, because if I can now do these kind of videos in a faster way, well, now I can kind of generate some of these videos this way. Now, with the creation process, I'm going to be going back and forth between art and video creation from my notes, because as I told y'all, part of my other thing was, and this is the really my neck, that's one video format that, again, this is all for utility for your music, right? You need music videos, and they need to be entertaining and engaging. So these are things that I'm doing that are just tests now to see, okay, hey, how does me putting AI generated on a video, what is the stats on that? How is that going to do? Well, I can tell you right now, it's done a hell of a lot better than a lot of my other videos, especially how long my damn videos are. But it's getting the search engine traffic, which means it's getting the plays, which means at the core, it's already making money. That's really the simplicity of the idea. And what I mean by that, let me show. Oh, I was actually looking at the wrong screen. It's right here. No, not this one. Go to Toxic Hustle as a whole. There we are. This one. That's what I was looking at when I was talking. That this video right here is a test, and it's done 18 views. Well, that just got, well, no, yeah, done 18 views. As you can see from my other ones, 24. Like I did 18, and it's only been up. Like that takes like a week. That's 6 days to get this many plays. So that shows you just immediately that's more plays, and at the core of this, what's happening? My royalties are hitting. That's my boy Ty Durden right there. So again, these are just some ideas for speeding up the visual side of the utility for your workflow. Now, what I was talking about was Reallusion, right? REAL Illusion. Now with Reallusion, you have iClone, which you can now get 3D sets, 3D scenes. Like you see this. Do motion capture. They have their character animation suite just got updated with a whole bunch of stuff. You can use a phone to capture your facial movements. So what does that mean for content creation? That idea that you saw with just me in a simulated 3D environment, what does it now mean if I can now take this, create the set and the scene, and while this doesn't look the way I want, okay, I may not like the way it looks here, but what can I do with this software? I know it's right here, but I wanted to see what that other thing was. You can take your motion capture data or your data inside the system. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. There is what I was looking for. And you can bring it into Unreal. So my workflow will be design what I want in iClone. I can then create whatever characters I want. I can make my own characters, put them inside my 3D sets. Character, iClone. There we go. So here, I can create my environments, buy props, buy scenes, get my scenes set up, get them lit, place the cameras where I want, get everything set the way I want. See? Do all this work, get all this thing set up, and then export it, create my characters, export it all into Unreal. There it is, Unreal. Right? Bring it right into Unreal. And now you have Unreal's rendering engine to be able to do the extra work that you want. And now, if you're looking at Unreal 5, and we just deal with the, hold on, let's just let me just use YouTube. Unreal 5. And what I'm going to do is in the filters, I'm just going to use this week alone. So that way we can see what people are doing. Let's go ahead and double speed, playback speed, double speed this. So again, what could you now do for your music videos if you have a damn near real-time rendering engine? The problem that I had with the way I was doing my business was I had to render everything out. I had to do all the work myself. I had to have this system that needed like all this render time and all this processor time. And I was rendering these scenes one at a time. And I couldn't put a person in that scene and I couldn't have the 3D animation going. And I couldn't do all of this stuff that you're able to do now. And you're able to do pretty much inside a laptop. What does that do to your creative output of what you can create? Like for me, yeah, I want to get my music out. I want to get a process for that. I want to get my automation to be able to get my videos and my marketing out because I need a process for that. But then how I make music and make beats, I want a process for that. But then the next stage is I want a process for making a pseudo music video, like I showed y'all, how you do that using these tools that everyone now has access to. And then part B, we take it the next step up. How do you now begin to do music videos inside 3D environments? How do you render that out? Then you just upload those, put them in your Premiere intro, outro, done. And do some post processing if you want, right? Because that's how this is going to work. we have to get back into a position of creation and not just creation for creation's sake. I tell Johnny all the time, don't be a hardware jockey. Don't just sit there and just concentrate on all the hardware or software you can buy. Don't get caught into the I make beats, I make beats, I make beats, I make beats loop. What the hell does it matter if you make a beat if the beat doesn't do nothing for you long term? And without a rapper, hello, me, I'm an MC, without a rapper on your track, well, you still have utility. Look at all the car commercials. Look at every restaurant commercial. Look at the drug commercials. Side effects may include blah, 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 right? You got some happy jingly ish on the back of some things. Some side effects me your gonads are down the street. Side effects may include your insides becoming your outsides. Eyes becoming cross-eyed might be a thing. So we just have to understand that the simplicity, the business models have come down. Now we're dealing with technology that gives you leverage, and how you leverage that gives you an edge, right? And then as far as residuals are concerned, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight freaking line, right? And where's the straight line to your royalties? A company that you upload your music to. I happen to use CD Baby. You can use TuneCore. They do have an option where it's basically, it's not that weirdo DistroKid crap where they're hitting you for subscriptions on every freaking thing. Like if you're not like, I know y'all like DistroKid because like you can upload 1,000,000 beats, but your 1,000,000 beats are making you no YouTube royalties. You got to pay extra for that. So you're gonna need to you gotta have to figure something else, right? And how do you get YouTube royalties? You upload it to CD Baby. End of discussion. Done. Now what do? You get utility out of your music by generating video and putting it out, and people listen to it, and you're making money. That's it. Have a nice day. Thank you. Come again. I keep it simple. What up, RTP? I'm keeping this is simple. Why show you Unreal? Why show you how you're going to do video? Why show you AI for video creation? I'm showing you the tools that speed up your process, because guess what you're going to have to do through the recession? You're going to have to do services. And if you think making beats is a service, I am sorry to tell you, the only person that services is rappers, and rappers will be broke. They're going to be working like I'm going to be working, like I've always had to work. What changed for me is utility of my assets now. I'm not trying, and I'm making royalties. I am seeing checks that get put into my account, and I'm not even trying yet. Everything I'm showing you is the ramp up for how I'm scaling out my shit. And none of these other supposed damn like again, the Toxic Hustle subscription plan is me just laying out all the blueprints to my shit. Like literally, like, hold on, where's my close you out right here. Automation basics. What are APIs? What's what Coda? How you post to a database? I still got to work that out because I actually have all my stuff built out. Twitter. How you get all your stuff set up to be able to automate Twitter. All this right here. Then the 101 on how you get like setting up your business accounts. I'll have that there. Then I'm working on the how you post to YouTube. I'm working on the YouTube automation now. All of these things are great to be able to give you an edge, but they also give you a serviceable job skill. Platform automation, marketing automation, social media automation, social media marketing. All of these are keywords to resumes, that are keywords that should be in resumes, especially if we're going into an automation age where I'm telling you everything is automating. My cousin drives a forklift for Amazon, one of my cousins. Well, the forklifts can drive themselves. He's going to have to figure something else out. And as I kept telling everybody, If you're not writing AI that writes its own AI, then you're not going to have a job in about 10 years. So, what you're going to have to figure out is what the gross domestic product's going to be, especially since it can't be quantum computers. We're not going to get into that swag. So, it's going to have to be something else. It ain't going to be creating, unless you're going into farming. I mean, we're going to need food. So, if you go into like farming automation, that might help. I showed you FarmBot. For those that you don't know, that's already a thing. And it's open source. Meet FarmBot. Open source farming robot. Precisely Waters. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? It does the weeding. You have a piece of software to choose how you want to grow it out. So we have to understand that everything is going to be automated. Well, like this is Fight Club rules. You determine your level of involvement, right? So if you got automation in the food industry, if you have automation in the business industries, if you have automation on the desktop, I showed you desktop automation. If you have all of these things coming, then the only thing that the only gross domestic product that's out there is media. What has America been offloading to everyone in the world? It's media products, it's movies. What do movies have? Music. The gross domestic product will be media based assets, our social media. So, what does that mean? Who is the company that's going to have the most amount of visibility for you to earn royalties? That'll be YouTube. How do you get royalties? We already said that. CD baby. Short and to the point. So it just means utility. So the beta for Toxic Hustle is already out as far as what we're doing, how we're itemizing all the educational resources, where how we get certain things done. The automation side is is a bonus, extras. What I'm going to be working on is the music side, which is how do we automate or speed up our mixing processes? What are we using to do so? What are the references that we're using to be able to have a cleaner or faster AI that's tuned to our sound or tuned to the sound that we like, or how you tune your own sound with these tools? That's going to be part of it. Also, whatever you want to see and learn. The thing is that it's not just about what we're building. Like, even part of this, like I'll even do it right now so you can see. Add a sub page. Webflow automation. I'm going to be working on that as well. So, how I automate Webflow, which is how I'm going to be doing the website, how I'm doing the membership, because they have an API. And while it's not on the N8N side where it's a straight up interaction, or yeah, you can straight up interact with it directly. Since N8N has HTTPS and you can connect directly to memberships via the API, it's just about getting the API key. So I'll map all that information out and then begin to interact with the memberships on the back end through Coda. So literally, this database system will be controlling the website, what gets posted to the website, the interactions that members do on the website will be stored offsite and basically be controlled from a central repository. So that's kind of like, and then if you think about that, if you put that on your resume, what is that going to do for you? Right? If you put that out there as a business skill, what does that do for you? Like, you can now offer marketing services to other people. So that's the big thing that I want to be able to have with Toxic Hustle Pro is it literally turns you into a pro of something that's monetarily feasible. Like, the biggest one is service. Through any recession, your biggest perk is your service level. What can you do today that you can get $25, $50, and that'll allow you to go down the street, swipe a card, and eat immediately? Like, I need my life that simple because hey, if we try to make it into crazy, like, yeah, you can make 2,000, 3,000, 5. If you do it that way, you're never going to get your daily taken care of. And what I had to realize the last recession, when I was living through MySpace while going through the downturn of 2007, 2008, as it went shifted, I was doing Second Life, MySpace, and both of them were collapsing underneath Facebook's weight. Well, now Facebook doesn't have that weight anymore. And Google is giving you direct access to cash flow if you're uploading your music through CD Baby. You literally have an direct source of capital that comes in that's not reliant on any rapper out there. And I'm an MC, so I can immediately say that's great. You shouldn't have to wait on me to get paid, especially if my friends will end up looking for jobs for UPS or trying to make delivery or working real estate when before now the real estate's beginning to pop. But at least you have some outside residual cash flow that can now come in. That's cash flow that can now buy more plugins, and those plugins you write off in your taxes. If this is going to be a music business, we have to understand businesses change. You don't make a CD and it doesn't go into Music Factory or Sam Ash anymore, right? You don't go into a supermarket or Walmart or Kmart or anywhere else and go to a CD rack slash tape rack and buy music. No, your music is streaming. And what I showed y'all transparently through my own CD Baby data, nobody else's data. I'm not out here hypotheticalizing BS. I'm not giving you cap. Can only give you the data. The data is the data is the data. And what does the data tell me? The most amount of royalties I've got in year to date come from YouTube's Content ID. That means my music that I uploaded to CD Baby, if I add it to anything and somebody listens to it, I'll get paid. Boom. Proof of concept. As I told you, we are a media company disguised. We are a research and development company disguised as a media company. 18 views on this piece of content does better than most of it's on par with some of our other videos, like this one that's over a year old has only got 11 views. So do I have a proof of concept that says, okay, if I create a channel that just did AI generated art and put my music behind it, could I not? And even if I shorten the videos down, which shit, why should I? Could I not generate royalties from something as simple as AI generated art? Like, I didn't do no extra real work. But I got utility and I'm getting it through and I'm going to get the royalties and I'm probably going to get a higher royalty strike on this play. Why? Because it's just my music and an interesting topic. What I tell y'all to do, find a niche that you enjoy. I happen to like artificial intelligence because I like automation in general because I do automation on a desktop. So the minute that now they have AI that has APIs and I can use a robot to my robot APIs through N8N and interconnect with these APIs, what do you think I'm going to do in a minute? How crazy do you think this is about to be? I mean, they done messed up, right? Because They done gave me access to DALL-E. So now what happens if I take some of my ideas? Let's go to this right here. Right? And we copy that. And we put this here. And we just say generate. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. All right, there we go. So now I have more scenes that are in an anime style, movie style immediately. Now, couldn't I use this to be able to create more videos if I wanted it in square format? Same idea. Different variations of the same idea. This is what I mean when I said that this is going to change how I work, at least. And what a square, like right now, this is the only thing DALL-E can do. It's one of the limitations I don't like about DALL-E is the fact that it always goes to a square, which is not good when I want it to be video ready. See, at least with these, I can get this big, larger scale video ready aspect ratio with less work, right? I don't have to scale. I don't have to really scale this out. I can use this right now. I didn't have to use the AI to scale this up. With DALL-E, I will. And I have just a square ratio, which is fine. Those can be used for um, Instagram, right? You can use those for gram videos. You can use them for TikTok videos. So still, I can use the AI, and the credits are not that bad as far as I checked out pricing. Hold on, where is it? If you go buy credits, let's say if I spend $150, excuse me, yeah, if I want, excuse me, if I want 150. Okay, that was right. So if I wanted, let's say I wanted 100, no, I wanted 50 or 20. Okay, so basically $300, 2,300 credits, or go by, or for $150, 1,150 credits. So basically, it seems like one credit for one picture or for one render. I believe it's one credit per. So again, it gives you enough wiggle room to design a good amount of content, and then you just have to figure out how to monetize said content. So again, I look at these things, these tools, not just as, hey, this is some dope ish. This is like, no, this is dope. But look what I did. I can sit there and now take these pictures, and automatically now I have 4 images to a brand new video. So that's just one of the strategies I'm going to be rolling out with some of the AI um, that I'll be working with. As I said, we'll be mapping everything out in Toxic Hustle Pro as much as we can. We're going to be mapping out the processes all underneath the Media Business 101. So literally, what we do to become a media business, how we are a media business, at the end of the day, what makes us a quote unquote media business. Our media music earns royalties, cash flow. That puts us in the business of media because a medium of ours, which is music, is generating royalties. Then we use video to be able to get utility out of those assets, generating extra royalties. We do that by making sure our content is in markets that will garner the visibility and the eyeballs. We get utility from the video content, video media that we use that utilizes our audio media, which generates our royalties. And in said business model, because we can do that for ourselves and do that in such a way where it's scalable for me to say have 5 to 10 other clients that I could do this for, I can now charge a service to generate said content for other clients. Well, so can you. I laid it out for you. How do you get paid? You get paid to PayPal or your Cash App or your Venmo, however the hell you want to do it. And then it's just about setting up your invoicing. That's one of the things that I'll show you how I'm working invoicing. I'm going to be doing it actually through QuickBooks. And I'll be setting up QuickBooks with a corporate bank account. You could set it up with a separate bank account that you're using. I would suggest you have a separate bank account than your personal bank account so that you can already begin to separate business assets from your personal ones. It becomes a headache if you're tying your personal and your business into the same accounts. So try to separate your business from your personal life. That's why if you get a business PayPal account or a business Stripe account or some other business online account that gives you access that you can get paid directly to it, that'll be your best bet. Right now, the best way to get paid through CD Baby is to have a bank account and or PayPal, right? So then, as I always recommend, there is a PayPal consumer side, but there is a PayPal business account. You sign up for your PayPal business account, you'll get if one puts you in a different category for how and you can also do invoicing out of here. And you'll get a business debit card. So now you get paid, it's in your PayPal account, you go down to Church's Chicken, you swipe, you eat. I know I use that analogy a lot for those. That's how I survived 2007, 2008. After I got locked up and I got out of jail and I lost my apartment and I had to stay at the house of one of my homeboys that I was recording his albums and his cousin's albums at my house for the cheapest, the low price. That was how he said thank you, was he gave me a place to crash, but I still had to pay to stay at his place. So what I did was I went on MySpace and I started doing CD covers for people and I got paid through PayPal and I was able to give him money and go down and swipe and eat at the Church's Chicken, which was right down the street. I could eat. Yes, I could go to the grocery store. It was a little bit farther, but I could just go get me some chicken and I could eat. Yes, I could still go into the convenience store and buy me a pack of cigarettes. Back then I was smoking cloves. And I wasn't giving up my clothes. I was stressed out. What I'm giving y'all is practicum of my life. I'm going to tell you, I worked at a bank, and I'm going to tell you that while I was working there, the person that employed me got laid off and they left his fucking breakfast on the table. And I didn't know nothing about it till lunchtime that he was just let go. That was my boss. Because he couldn't keep up with developing on the content management system. I left New York, came down to Georgia, lived in Macon to learn about content management systems. I pulled out that PHP was going to be the number one code. It became the number one code. MySQL was going to become the number one database. It became the number one database. And PHP website, PHP, excuse me, WordPress was going to become the number one content management system. It became the number one content management system. Well, it doesn't do well with apps. So when in 2015, December, right around Christmas, I told my girl, babe, I think I'm about to lose my job. I don't think a company needs a web developer anymore. I don't think they need a WordPress person. They can just go get somebody to do it, buy a template, and put it up and be done with it. I'm out of a job because it became so simple that the CEO could do his own work. Well, now the CEOs were acting like me. I'll put up my own WordPress site. I'll put up my own site. And I was selling the service of getting their sites up. But then you had to maintain it and do all this other stuff. So that's why I had to pivot. I didn't want to be in the tech servicing business anymore. I don't want to be on the server security business anymore. The maintain WordPress system business anymore. This is why I started trying to find another platform. So I was looking at Bubble, but Bubble's UI sucks. Sorry, Bubble, but your UI sucks, man. And this is why I can't use you. And now I'm looking at Webflow. It's dope. It doesn't have everything I need. There's some things I'll still need to buy modules for, but I'm learning it. And as I'm begin to itemize everything, I'll be able to show it to y'all. But at the end of the day, what's coming right now is application based. We're going into a community age, right? Where's your communities? A perfect example is the musical genius Discord, right? Inside the Discord, this is the community. So here's a community right here, where what I'm doing with Midjourney is a community. It has damn near 1 million people that are doing collaborative art. Like, look at this. You go into environments, y'all, and see the stuff that they're creating. And here's the keywords for you to create your own scenes. So you're not alone in being into this collaborative creative process. This is actually hot. Actually, hold on. Check this out. I like this so much, right? Let's say I'm like, you know what? This is kind of dope. Get one of these icons. I hit this little email thing, right? It mails it to me. Boom. It just mailed me all of this. So now I have the seed if I wanted to recreate this thing. Crazy, right? Now I have the seed to begin crafting this scene and doing other things with this scene. Coming up with different keywords to do something else. Crazy, right? My goal is to make you understand that this business model has changed. That media being a record label means dick right now. You are a label. You go here. You have this PayPal business account. They can pay directly here or pay into your bank account. Or if you can get some of these other accounts, an online bank account, which is one of the things I was showing in the research that I'm going through in the basic research for finance. I'm not done here, but payment processing is Payoneer. I'm still trying to figure out how to set up ACH because that's basically bank deposit. Any place that has ACH, I'm going to try to map out all the companies that have ACH. So this way, basically your PayPal your CD baby could pay to any of these other accounts. So I want you to have flexibility to be able to move your money away from any companies that like I don't trust PayPal with the 1000% of my money. Because like I said, they've been able to shut me down before. So I'm looking at Payoneer because they're one of the largest out there, and they have a business side of their business. So I'm gonna see if how to set up ACH, and if it works, now I can port my stuff over there. And like I said, with the finance thing, I'm also going to be showing like here. These are some of the other banks you can. I'm giving you sneak peeks into the content. Come on now. Excuse me. But I want y'all to win. Like for me, it's not even say win. Like I want us to survive. Like music sucks right now. Like music sucks bad. And it's not what we're creating that makes it whack. It's what's being perpetuated that we feel we have to create because it has to sound like the next nig for us to get on. And what I'm saying is my music don't sound like none of that ish. I don't even have a like even if you listen to the song that I played that I used for this video, which is Reach for You. Like another thing that I'm doing with music, like, and I gotta thank MG for this one. Tune Track. Y'all, his hustle on Tune Track is crazy. In fact, I'm gonna show you what video it is too. This way we can give MG some, give a Nick his flowers. It's underneath my tutorial database. Oh, don't tell me I didn't do it yet. Don't tell me I didn't do it yet. Oh, I did. I just didn't post it where I needed to post, but here it is. Right here, MG has and this is how I became better than the Neptunes without piano lessons, Easy Keys. This Easy Keys tip is the most underrated tip ever. And in fact, what made this song was this tip, which is basically you draw out the chord structures you want in your MIDI blocks, right? Then you press this button, and every single one of these things now, any one of these MIDIs can take on the structure that you've done here. That is the most crazy shit ever, MG. Most crazy-ish ever. Because now I have a session piano. Like if you listen to the piano, and this is like when I say we are a media company, music company, a research development company disguised as a music company. Like if you listen to this song, that is all Tune Track. Easy Keys. Not the breathing sound of boo boo. That was a sample. That sound, that's a sample. But everything else around it, so that sound, that's a sample, but I brought it down an octave. And then you're gonna see Tune Track. I build a bunch of sound design around those chords. Here. And I just play out or test out all these little bits and drag and drop them into where I want those little bits to play out. So I'm gonna show y'all all, like I said, I'm gonna show you how I do all this stuff and build songs out of this. But it's crazy. But again, this based off of MG, this video basically did this whole song. Even how the strings are playing. That's crazy, right? All of it is easy keys. So that anyway, this begins the process of you really, putting out work. Like being able to craft your sound, get your sound done. How do you piece together a complete melodic thought process, but not be restricted where it feels so stagnant and it feels like it doesn't have life. Like this whole song, there's no real repetitive parts. There's layers on layers on layers that pop in and out and move in and out. So there seems to be a flow to this entire process. And that's kind of what I'll show in most of my training for how I'm doing the music side. Because again, the goal is, how do you get work done fast? How do you then get it out? How do you then get your royalties locked in? And now how do you get utility out of that is the video side, the editing side. And like I showed you, there's some great tools coming up that are going to make that ridiculously easy. So like I said, with Tune Track, Easy Keys, and then you got Easy Bass. I'm testing that now. That's about to be another nutso-ish right there. But like I said, the majority of where your royalties are coming from, if you're dealing with CD Baby, your majority of your royalties are Content ID. Your Content ID is your watermark. Now it is just, where is your watermark going? That's it. So that is basically my talk about the automation of media, that it's here now. I've showed you how, from the creation side to the art concept side, I showed you the video software that's in the cloud that can green screen things out and build what I was doing inside After Effects and Premiere that was taking crazy hours and removing all of that freaking workload. How I showed you in the future with motion caption suits and using a simple eye touch that you can do motion capture and facial recognition to be able to put a 3D character inside an 3D environment and use an Unreal 3D, render that in real time, export that out, and now have a full 3D motion music video. Of course, I didn't show you how to do all this. I just showed you the tools and how you have to, how you interlink all of these things. I will, in time, be able to build all out for ToxicHustle. But that's a lot of work, and we're going to take it step by step. So the first thing is, I showed you how to just take an AI video, throw it into some type of photo program. You can use Premiere, and simply fading in and out. That's all this video is fading from one image to another image. And all I did was the scale, right? You can see it's going in and out. So scrolling down, all it is just scaling down. Fades to the next one and scales down. Fades to the next one and scales down. That's the video. That's the entire video. But because it's AI generated art, a person who's just interested in that just wants to see the damn art. How many people are now going to listen to that song over and over again just to look at the art again, saying, oh, it's beautiful, I want to see that? How many people are now going to put that on a playlist? How many people are going to share that playlist on YouTube? Now, how many times is that going to be seen? Do you dig me? I could now be a part of a lo-fi playlist that somebody has on YouTube and shares with his friends. Get me? Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing I want you to also realize what's changed is the DJ has become the playlist curator. And it's not buying into playlists. No, 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 no. That's cap. It's being found and placed on these playlists in a very generic, a very loose, a very passive way. You don't need to go out here and chase clout to try to get people to play your ish and try to sell beats. Like that was 2020. 2022, you can now earn royalties. Go earn your royalties. That's the only thing you need to focus on. Get utility out of your work and let that utility generate for you the royalties that the data has already proved to you, or at least it has to me, of where the most amount of cash flow comes from. And that is Content ID, year to date. So that, my peoples, is it. So is there anything that y'all need to know or anything y'all would like to know or anything that I can explain or help with? How many plays is on this one now? Still 18. Crazy, 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 man. Well, if not, then I'm going to say adieu. I hope everyone stays safe. I thank you for spending time with me. Like, for y'all listening to this damn my insanity, y'all don't seem to understand how thankful I am. Because as I was telling my fiance, I was like, what feels good is knowing that some of the things that I've shared with y'all has been helpful. Like for real, that in itself is enough, right? But knowing that I'm being right now, I'm getting ready to to launch something that I think is going to be even more beneficial. Again, I want you to be able to take this information. I want y'all to earn on it, like really, 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 really earn on this shit. Like take, I need that. I need that more than anything else because again, y'all don't understand. When I get ready to turn these robots on our content, when I get ready to take, like, I'm able to take your tracks that y'all post in the playlist area, like I did today in the Discord, and I'm able to like check on your artistry and see that you have a CD Baby link. Like, again, this is how easy it is for y'all to find. You take your stage name, go to Google, right? When you do that, boom, that you get like your stage name and a topic, right? That's when you know it's owned by CD Baby. See? Or provided to you to YouTube by CD Baby. This means that you are available for any one of these damn tracks to be used into anything, right? And now I could easily come in here. There's a piece of software that I found. Hold on. On Windows. Hold on, wait for it to load. Oh, here it is. Like boom. Like that video that for that where the video I showed you. Oh, hold on. Wrong side. Haha, I'm over here. For this video, Reach for You, this software 4K YouTube to MP3, it's not activated. You get 15 downloads a day. Um, so like I had 50, I downloaded twice. I was down to 13 downloads yesterday. Today's a new day. I got 15 more again. What I can do is you can copy a link. So let's say if I wanted to turn this. So again, hold on. Where is it? So like here. Sorry, going back over here. Here we are. So how I showed you, you You take Tragic CD Baby, type it into Google. Then what you do is you click here underneath this, you get your tragic topic or your artist name topic, right? And then from here is where all of my assets are. And now I can go in here. Let's say I wanted,
Did you ever notice how in the Bible, whenever
right? I can go over here and what I did was I went over here, for Reach for You. It's going to automatically want to play that playlist. I just copied this. And then in this software, I paste the link in there and it'll actually just pull it down. Then I took that, it actually creates you open your folder. I then took that file and uploaded it to the software that I showed you over here, Runway. I was going to do Words I Speak, but I ended up going with Reach for You. So I just dragged and dropped this in there. Let me go into it. Vietnamese rice field. That's what this search term was that I was using to work on this project. There's all the assets for it. Click open, and this is all it is. I took the audio, and then you can do beat snapping, where it now will generate these lines to snap you to the beat, and you can actually use these lines to snap your clips to that beat. I didn't do that with this song, but I will in the future concentrate on snapping shots to beats and doing more with shots. I'm going to see how this works. I'm also going to look at Premiere because Premiere's got their new Adobe Sensei thing and it can automatically cut music to your actual video, which is crazy. So I'm going to see how that works as well. But right now, I'm looking at this tool. The only problem I have with this tool is really the price. So like if we go to right now, pricing is if you want to like get depth maps, so like you wanted the exports of your transparencies, you don't get that with the $35 one. So you've got to pay $100 to actually get the business side of what you need. So it's like if you're paying for the entire Adobe suite, do you want to also have to pay for this? Even though this can kind of be a little bit of your Photoshop and kind of been a little bit of your Premiere, but you don't get After Effects. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, where it's like, it's dope. I like the fact that I don't have to buy a bunch of extra plugins to do things like snap things to music. But then, do I really do that much extra hard work? Is it really that hard for me to just hit a key to be able to hit my markers in and actually tap my markers where I want my cutscenes to go? Nah, not really. So we'll see. I'm going to see whether or not I've got 7-day trial. So I've got a few more days to figure out if I want to go with this a little bit longer or if I'm just going to stick with Adobe for at least this first cycle to generate enough cash flow to maybe justify this. Because again, when you're dealing with the side of we're not in the growth side of the economy macro cycle, right? We're not buying growth stocks. We're buying value stocks. So with us buying growth, doing value, it means I've got to generate an income. That means I got to generate revenue. That means I have to be value based. What is my earnings? I can't be on, hey, in the future, we're going to be the biggest thing in the world because in the future, we're going to do this to make money. No, I have to look at my bottom line and say, as a company, we do this to make money, we do services. And then we also get residuals from earnings for royalties. And we're also working with this over here to be able to create products that some people may be able to buy, but we're not in the product cycle and the macro cycle for people to have the disposable income to maybe want to buy a freaking t-shirt, right? Which one do you prefer out of Dolly and Midjourney? I'm going to say Midjourney all day, every day. This is why. I'm stuck right here. This size. This is it. This is all I get. I can't get no other size but this. That's cool and all. That's dope. But that doesn't help me in the area of video. If I can get something like this, even though this is small scale right now, if I can get something, hold on, let me get actually this one like this, right? I have this image now. This image can now go into a video, and I can use it day one, which I did. I rendered a video based off of just taking this image and dragging it onto my desktop and then dragging it into the cloud. So for me, I get utility immediately. I don't have to now generate, like for this, for Dali, this is my hustle I would have to do. I generate here. I then save these images. I then go to Topaz. And as I'm glad you brought this up because this is actually another AI for graphics that I didn't talk about that you can use for your graphics. So they have a pack for 159 bucks, right? So now you buy this and then you can even wait until you can wait until Black Friday and actually get it then. This price will be like crazy low. I'm actually going to do that. I'm waiting on the Black Friday sale to actually come in here and get this at a cheap, get the entire suite. Because right now I only have the scalar, the scale up version of it. What is it, gigapixel, but I want the entire suite because they even have a mask where you can mask something out, all that. So I want the entire suite. Um, but yeah, gigapixel. So gigapixel, you can take this and this software, you can basically take an image and it will clean it up as well as scale it out. So I can take an image and double its size or even quadruple its size. So what I would have to do is take this image, bring these 4 images in there, scale them up to their like big, maybe even double, if not quadruple the size. And now I can potentially use this in a scene. Now that it's big enough, I could potentially use it in a video scene, or I'm locked to using this for Instagram or TikTok, right? So anything that's dealing with Square, so Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, I can now use these images in that capacity, but then use um, Mid Journey for my big joints, for my YouTube video, and even Facebook full size videos. So for me, Mid Journey because I have more control. Oh, I have more control not only on the sizing of what Mid Journey gives me, but also on my how much I can actually render. So because I went ahead and paid for the year, though you don't have to. Best believe you don't. Hold on, incognito, and go mid. Hold on, pricing. Uh, Here we go. So you've got the best one. I went with the corporate just because that's what I did. They have a private, let me see, basic, standard, and private. So you've got a private So I guess it's like 50 a month. All plans work in direct messages with private visibility. Your images on your gallery are hidden from users, they'll remain hidden. So literally you pay for the standard membership and then you get the private visibility. So basically it's 50 a month. But the good like and the thing is that you get this fast time, which is like you can get larger render sizes. Your max render size can be done. You'll get at least 15 GPU hours, or basically think it's like maybe 100 or something, or 200 renders, something like that. If you go with the corporate billing like I did, you basically get 120 hours and that's it. So you get, like, for me, it seems like you get less revenue, but you will be able to use images commercially as an employee with a company that's making over 1 million in gross revenue. Now, that's why I said you don't need this, but I was already preparing for the future. So that's why I went with that one. Got to, man. I appreciate that, RTP, as far as like doing economics with tech and music. I have to, because that's where I'm at. Like literally, I'm a producer that only started producing. I'm a rapper who had to make his own beats. Like I had no choice but to make my own beats. And then cause my friends were charging in Queens. My friends were charging $2,500 for a beat at the time. So this was like early 19, like late 19, late 90s. We're saying 98, 90, 90, like 97, 98. This is back when I was getting on AOL and I was like starting to learn a few things, and I was starting to see that I could use like I could get away from sampling with hardware and sample with a PC using a Creative Labs um, audio card. And then I started seeing that being going to a studio was dumb. I was spending way too much money going to a studio when I could just do it at home. And then the whole website phenomenon was coming up, and I was like, well, shit, I could make a magazine like the Source Mag and put my music back somewhere, or like basically the same way that Benzino did, right, with the Source, where Benzino would be able to like have this magazine, but then if he wanted to, be able to launch his own music behind the scenes. So I figured that was coming with, being able to create a website and create a magazine, but then I didn't realize social media was going to come. And then now with social media, you didn't actually really need a website. It changed. Now you could just be on this platform, and now what you had to offer was something else. And that's when I learned, hey, I needed to offer services. How do I sell services? Like, okay, I'm making MySpace layouts for myself and my friends. Well, now I have a MySpace layout page. Well, now people can see these layouts. And because I had other artists, I would make all these designs for like all the rappers, whatever, like all the hottest rappers at the time. I made MySpace layouts for, and then because other rappers would see that, I made sure to have a service page that said, if you wanted your own MySpace layout, contact us, blah 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 blah, and then I just charge them for it. So that's how I figured out my hustle to get paid, was actually to charge for services, do graphic work like CD covers, um, uh, my Facebook pages, their Twitter pages, like all design all the social media graphics, whatever social media platform they're on. Design the graphics that they use for their meme videos or for quote videos. Like design the branding for a client and sell the brand. So brand the client, create their logo, create their stuff, and charge them to be branded. And what I found was that was a better way for me to get my stuff. And then another hustle was, hey, I'm working with these clients where I'm designing their commercials for ads that they're putting on YouTube and all that other stuff. And while I'm designing those ads, I'm putting my music behind it. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to notice that these ads are generating royalties. I'm like, oh, I'm blown the frick away. So like for me, the tech has always led everything else, because what I believe is all technology gets cheaper. And then whatever was the biggest benefit for a main corporation or a major corporation will in time come down the levels and get in our hands. A perfect example of that was content management system. When I worked for Citibank, that content management system we paid for was called Team Site. That site was hundreds of thousands of dollars for the contract, and then they had to bring in the developers to help us, so that we had to pay for that, and they were from India, so we had to import them, and then now they're working with us, and now we had to learn, we had to bring in these other developers from an acquisition, and now I need to piece all this together. And I was like, okay, so content management systems are the thing. Who's going to be number one in that and make this easy? And that's when WordPress came. Now I'm saying, okay, websites are no longer a niche thing. Anybody can build a website. You can spin up a website for $5 anywhere in the world. Okay, great. The same way that us being producers mean dick anymore. So long as a person has FL Studio, anybody on the planet can be a damn producer. Okay, so what? Now, how many of us are paid musicians? There you go. That for me was the only logical next step. Like, okay, I can't be a musician anymore because or I can't be a producer because there's going to be millions of producers. Any 10-year-old with FL Studio will make a beat, and younger can make a beat. So it can't be the fact of making beats as being my niche. It's got to be something bigger, right? And that's where, okay, well, maybe it's what kind of tech can help you get your process. Like for me, I've done 2 albums. Right? So for me, these 2 albums that I put out were a test, but these 2 albums were the hardest thing for me to do. The entire workflow of how I made these albums, it was 3 months, so basically 90 days. I was doing X amount of songs per week, and then I still had to mix and master and be done so I could get it out. Now, I have a different business process or a different process because that process, by the time I was done, I didn't want to do no more albums. Like I was exhausted mentally, physically, spiritually. I was done. I was exhausted. I didn't want to do it no more. And then I would want to do another album. And I was like, I would remember how hard it was to get that last one done. And I'm like, I really don't feel like it. Now we're looking at tools that offload the 8 to 10 hours I took to get a mix together. But I'm still not happy with my mixes. But they were what they were at the time with the tools and how I knew and what I was able to do at the time. Now we're looking at the software that can now help you get to zone one or stage one in the least amount of resistance as possible. Like what tools are you using is not so much as bad as how you use them, right? For me, I like Studio One just because I can right click on a couple tracks and add a bus and then add effects to that bus and then add another bus to that bus and then which is a right click, and now I basically have a chain of buses in a couple clicks. That just makes my life easy. I like being able to now just create art in an easy way. That just makes my life easy. Why? Because I've made music videos, and the music videos were a pain in the ass. That one video I did where it was just me in front of a green screen and having to edit out the green screens and basically create this pseudo layer and do all that. That was done in 2 clicks. It would take me all day to just do the green screen. So like even that one video took 2 weeks to do. And that was an easier video than the videos I'd done prior to. One of them took a month and change to do, and another one took me 3 months. The full music video I did for Ty, which was actually editing and green screening and all of and doing all that extra work, layering everything together took me 3 months. Now, what time do I got to make music if I spent every evening for 3 months working on a music video? None. How do I scale up working with another client? How much would I have to charge a client to do a music video if it's taking me 3 months? Now, what if I could get it done in, say, 2 days? Now, what could I charge? 3 days. What could I charge if I could do that same video that took me a week in 3 days or even in 2 days? If I can get that done in 2 days, well, now all of a sudden that just changed how many clients. I can take 2 clients a week. Now I could charge maybe $150, $200 a client, maybe even less if I want to have a deal. Now I can do that 4 times a week. And now I've got a little bit of cash flow that I can now invest in other things with. That has nothing to do with my music and me selling my music. My goal is to for as the same thing I tell my girl. Like I told my girl, she can't just concentrate on her cooking or being on her feet as a way to make money, because if your feet or your hands or something happens to you, you're no longer generating any income. If you lose your time to be able to service, you no longer have an income. You have a job disguised as a business. My goal is, how do I create a business out of my job? Which is, my if my job is to make music, well then my music should be making money for me in a passive way. We now have that. That came down to us finally. We don't need a label anymore to get that one thing. That one thing is, I can take my music, I can attach it to anything on the planet as far as visually, and I can put it out on this thing called YouTube, and I'm going to generate royalties. That right there is everything for the future of any business that you create now. Because that means your core asset of your music can now be used in anything. You want to do it in a cartoon? Boom. You want to do it in a play to earn video game series? Boom. You got the next Grand Theft Auto. You don't even have to wait for Grand Theft Auto to give you all the goods. You can just take the screenshots and theme it with your own music. You can take the intros, theme it to your own music. And now all of a sudden you're in the game without being in the game. So that's what the goal is like, how do we begin to earn just that simple phase digitally? Because the physical is dying. Like the physical business that I get up, I commute to a computer for the rest of my life is over. It made no sense in 2013 when I left Canon. It makes no sense now. So that's the reason why I look at it this way, saying, look, if we're looking at our music and we're looking at our music as assets, now we can. Like, why? You just uploaded it. You just made your royalties. You're making your money. You didn't need a label to generate one iota of your visibility. And now you can attach your music thanks to their where are you? Hey. There we go. CD Baby Data. Based off their CD Baby Data, right? Based off CD Baby's data, I already know where my money's coming from. I put it into something. I generate my royalties. I don't have to worry about nothing else at all. Now, the tech just needs to lead to, how do you work better to get more of your assets out? Like, how do you get more of your thoughts out? Like, now it takes you another step, right? It's not just your music. Now you got to start thinking, like, well, damn, if I'm able to, like, in the future, take this whole idea of using a piece of software like a Real Illusion clone, iClone, right? And I can go all the way to Unreal, which means I can now get all these great looking designs like this, right? I can now put my character in here. I can also use their motion capture to be able to motion capture and get my motions, and even facial recognition to get my any actions that I'm doing. All of this can be caught with a simple camera, with a simple phone, or the iTouch. Facial recognition. So now if you're telling me I can design things like this and put them and make my own music videos, what does that mean for the future of your entertainment? Again, the gross domestic product of every single nation will be media. And it ain't going to be just social media. It's going to be what content are you creating? And all of this content goes into Unreal through their connection. Right? Put it in the scene. And now all that motion capture stuff that you did inside iClone, he's now setting it up and it's now basically inside the system. So now all of your animations, all of that is in here. You can now bring it into your scene and be done. Like that in itself is sickening. That's what I mean by this business has now changed. Everything that we need to do to be able to think out, like what kind of music videos were you thinking about years ago? What were you thinking about doing years ago that you weren't able to do because the technology, like you got to go walk outside with a camera? Like I went outside with a camera and I was editing and doing all this crazy ish. Now you're telling me that literally, hold on, sorry, opened the wrong window. That literally, here's a piece of software that acts like all these other pieces of software, but I can now make my green screens all inside the system. All inside the system, I can now green out. Then I can put effects on it. And create my own music videos inside the cloud. And it's just like layers like you know from all the other programs you know. And the only difference is this thing allows you to snap audio to the actual, it does beat detection built into the system. But you can do video effects. Like here, it's showing you how to do the little what you call it effect for Apple. He's taking this video of himself here. He then got it cropped out, right? He just drew this. Now he has his mask. He took this background that he got from Envato's marketplace that I showed you before. He drags that in there, drops it down to a backing layer, and there you go. He's now in this scene, and now he puts an effect on it. And he uses the edge detection effect. And there you go. You now created a pseudo Apple commercial type beat thing right there inside this system. This took me days to do inside Premiere and After Effects. He just showed you how fast you can do all of this inside here. So now, couldn't I do things like create these crazy scenes? One of the things I'm thinking about, like with this, right? And I didn't go this in depth, but with that thing that I just showed you, why wouldn't I be able to cut out this background, right, with this building? Maybe even get layers where I just get these clouds. Maybe I get like these little things right here where I've got multiple layers that I'm thing, and maybe I do animation where it's almost like a parallax effect where some parts of the things are moving at a different speed than other parts, and it just gives you this effect of depth. So there's a lot of things that I think that this is going to be able to do to build out using AI, build out these scenes, and using AI detection and software like this, that you can now create these music videos on your own. Hours that it would have taken you to do, or the software necessary and the plugins necessary and the skill necessary to do all of this is being taken away. It's speeding up. And that's why I mean that the technology gets in your hands, it comes down a level, and yes, it might be a little expensive because this is like $100 to get like the exports for the depth fields and all that, to like if you want to export that. But if you don't need all this, the unlimited this, then it's $35 a month and you get 4K exports. So it's another tool that has artificial intelligence, and all your stuff is in the cloud so that you don't lose it, and you can collaborate with others. Like I said, it has automatic beat detection and it has noise removal, so you can actually use these for shows. If you're trying to use this for like a show, if you're trying to use it for a show, this is one of the tools, like I was telling y'all, that I'm going to be using. See how how Runway took the late show edits from 5 hours to 5 minutes. So just take a look at this. This is another piece of software that I'm going to be using to help speed up some of my video creation process on how I'm going to utilize my music. So, boom, boom, boom. Like I said, this right here is my. And then another thing, even if you don't want to do the 3D side, let's say there's another business model that it's kind of interesting, which is Real Illusion also has their 2D animator suite. And I've been seeing this like on my horizon, but it's literally you can take these animated characters and do this type of work with them. So you can take cartoon 2D characters and animate them. So really interesting, even on the animated side. And then you can like go to Envato and download assets, or like I'm going to be doing, bring them in from, see how they're just like they can take specific things. You can do puppetry with videos, with cartoon videos. So like, hold on, mocap perform. So you can puppet and interact. Cartoon motion capture. And let me just do double speed so you can see. There. So see her eyes? They're showing you they're bringing in a character. So then, now she's puppeting this character because it has the facial turns and all that other stuff. So, like, again, imagine how these cartoons and these even cartoon or I won't say manga because I won't go in depth like that with this because I'm actually looking at more 3D manga style. Um, but even animated characters being able to do cartoons or commercials that need animated characters, could you not now be your own media business? My goal is, like I told y'all, is to think about media or being a media company. What does it mean to be a media company? It means you could take video assets and add your music to them. I already showed you where your royalties come from, so now it's just getting utility, right? So again, this is another idea of utility, taking these cartoon assets, and they have like you don't even have to get on you don't even have to start on your own. They even give you a starting platform because it comes with a character creator. overview, character creation. There you go. You got your 2D character creation, your rigs. Do it from images. Mask editor for how you can create your own from masks or from your own creations. But they also have a character already built in that you can use and then just swap out parts. So basically, you can build your own characters. So think about that for the business of where this would come in handy. For, let's say you're working with companies, that would be called explainer videos, right? And this can be a service. So the creation of explainer videos and explainer videos are short online marketing videos used to explain your company's product or service. Explainer videos are often placed on a landing page of the website's homepage or prominent product page. Let me show you what I mean by that. If we go into my channel and then go into the playlist, if I go to my show reel, here we go. And then I go down to this. This is an explainer video.
Your website is getting thousands of visitors a day. Every day, you and your team are working hard to find even more visitors to help push your sales. But do you know who those visitors are? Do you even know what products they might be interested in? Do you even know what they actually need? If you're like many businesses and your answer is no, well, that's where we can help. Just add us to your site and we'll be able to offer recommendations for your anonymous users, using our machine learning algorithms that turn ordinary websites into intelligent business sales tools. First, there was the smartphone, then the smart TV. Welcome to the smart web. Welcome to Shriya DXI. We make online sales simpler and smarter.
All right. So that right there, a client paid me for that. That is an explainer video. That's me doing the voiceover. Everything that you do in audio. You take some video. I made a storyboard. I animated that storyboard in After Effects. So I did a bunch of storyboards in Photoshop. I brought my Photoshop layers over to After Effects. I then took the After Effects video and then brought it into Premiere, all the little videos and rendered them out. I put my music behind it. I edited everything together, and there you go. I did a talk track over everything else, and that was it. I got paid for that video. And the thing is, I told that client, I warned him. I said, do you understand that in the future, that technology that you think is so important, in a few years, that's not going to be, like, everybody's going to be able to do that. You're not going to have a company that's going to matter. And sure enough, here we are years later. I can do their technology on my own via APIs and using automation with N8N. So where is their business model when artificial intelligence is an AI and I can interact with it? They don't. It doesn't work. And they were charging tens of thousands to be able to do that. And I basically modeled that entire business model basically for free. I mean, I pay monthly for my server that N8N is running on, but other than that, it's basically free. So I'm glad everybody sees what I'm getting ready to roll out. I will be making, again, on the videos for ToxicHustle Pro, all of that data. Let me go back. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Where is it? Boom. And then go back here. And then go back to ToxicHustle Pro. Thank you. Come again. So again, Webflow automation. I'm going to be working on that and mapping it out. I'm already working on the YouTube automation. So how to set it up, how you can set up and get your dev account, and how you set up to be able to do YouTube automation with N8N, right? So I have that mapped out. Twitter automation, I've already begun mapping that out, right? Already mapping all that out right there. I've just begun Coda automation as far as mapping out some of the stuff that I've been doing with Coda. Um, I've just begun starting to map that out, and I just added in this video the fact that I'm going to be doing Webflow automation, which is going to be how to automate the website and how to automate your data coming from Coda going over to Webflow as your database, as your website. So the main thing is again, how do you automate a site that can now do something for you? And my thing is like membership and e-commerce are going to be like the biggest things for any company anyway. So how do I map that out? And then how do I develop something that now I can develop for other clients? Where it's not just giving them a website, it's giving them a smart site that I was talking about in that video. But how do I create this smart site that can now do extra work for a client without it being like this big hefty WordPress thing that you got to maintain? You know, so I'm working on that now, and I'll be scaling everything out. I'm also going to put the audio as a part of this. So like audio, the audio, all the stuff that I showed you today, I'm going to be itemizing how I create videos with AI, how to, get on, how I'm utilizing certain AIs to scale things up, all of that. I'm going to be mapping it all out. And again, that's all going to be part of Toxic Hustle Pro. So stay tuned for that ish. Y'all, I'm about to get going because I got to go do something for the other business. So I got to head out. But y'all be safe out on these streets. I'm going to be back on Monday. We're going to get back to business. I'm going to also show you some of the things on the business side that I'm doing technically that are starting to generate some feedback and some following as far as for services for clients. And this will also be some things that you can potentially bring out for uh, to make money on your own. Again, how do we make money through this recession rather than really, the speculative bullshit that a lot of these people are talking about? Like, let's get practical, right? How do we practically have practical money in this situation, not hopium? All right. So y'all stay safe out in these